think people are threatened by comedians. I've always said this, like, politicians can stand up and say the most awful things and mean it, whereas a comedian says something and he doesn't mean it, and it almost gets more grief. Like, people are more annoyed that you joke about terrible things than say terrible things and actually mean them. I don't know why that is. Maybe they're jealous that we have such a platform and we can say things that some people are scared to. I don't know why, but I think that's the worst thing. Just people concerned all the time about what you've got to say. Yeah. But apart from that, it's all good. It's great. It's the best job in the world. So no complaints from me. And if I have got a complaint, I make a joke about it. So yeah, the days are gone now where I do a serious tweet or do a serious interview, and because it's all bad faith. It's horrible. I try not to do any interviews, particularly press now, because they've always got an angle. You're there for different reasons. I'm there to plug a thing. They're there to catch me out or show me up or cause controversy or clickbait. You know, even a great interview, sometimes the copy editor do a controversial, headline, and it just sort of ruins it. So that's great having your own platform like this. So I want. I'm usually talking to dogs. I'm not sure I'm making the most of my global platform. Maybe I should be running for office. That's how I use my platform, on a shitty chair that's creaking with a frozen shoulder. But you know me, I don't complain. This is fucking brilliant, you cunts. C-U-N-D, you cunts. You twaps. So, and I don't think, what were they couldn't say anything about that, could they? Even those complaints. I say fucking cunt, you fucking cunt. I was too close to that one. I have to, shouldn't do that one live. Well, newsreaders, when they try and say Jeremy Hunt, they say Jeremy Cunt. So, buy Dutch Barn so I can afford to make a shitty advert on telly calling people fucking cunts. That's worth it, isn't it? You spend 30 quid. Actually, I think it's 25 at Waitrose. It's all an advert, isn't it? It's like the worst infomercial in the world. Right.
Today we publish a white paper on immigration, a strategy absolutely central to my plan for change that will finally take back control of our borders and close the book on a squalid chapter for our politics, our economy and our country. Take back control. Everyone knows that slogan. And everyone knows what it meant on immigration. Or at least, that's what people thought. Because what followed from the previous government, starting with the people who used that slogan, was the complete opposite. Between 2019 and 2023, even as they were going round our country, telling people with a straight face that they would get immigration down, net migration quadrupled until in 2023 it reached nearly 1 million. That's about the population of Birmingham, our second largest city. That's not control, it's chaos.
I think the bigger you are, the more you can say what you want. I think we're coming out of it now, but there's been a good few years of ordinary people not being able to say what they want. And some, actors and comedians and artists get in trouble. But I I suppose I'm at the stage where I can ignore it and still do and say what I want. So that's good. I mean, free speech is amazing anyway, isn't it? But to have such a platform, that's good. People are always after you, aren't they?
And look, they must answer for themselves. But I don't think that you can do something like that by accident. It was a choice made even as they told you, told the country, they were doing the opposite. A one-nation experiment in open borders, conducted on a country that voted for control. Well, no more. Today, this Labour government is shutting down the lab. The experiment is over. We need to make the wider case on immigration. We welcome migrants. We don't scapegoat them. Low wages, poor housing, poor public services are not the fault of migrants and people who've come here. They're political failure. Political failure. So we have to make the case for the benefits of migration, the benefits of free movement. I want people in this country to be able to go and work abroad, in Europe. And I want people in Europe to be able to come and continue to work here. I want families to be able to live together, whether that's in Europe or here. And I want people in this country, in the United Kingdom, to be able to go and study in Europe, just as they can now, and people in Europe to be able to come and study here. We have to make the case for freedom of movement, and we have to make it strongly.
People like US radio host Alex Jones didn't just sit back. The clip erupted across X, TikTok and Telegram channels, with some users accusing the leaders of drug use in broad daylight. And logic? It was found nowhere remotely in sight. Moscow's foreign ministry also amplified the controversy, calling Europe's future in the hands of drugged figures.
First of all, I had so much fun. It's a blessing to be able to know him. And Michael's like a king. He was like a modern day king. And we did a lot of fun stuff. I used to just, I couldn't wait to hang out with him when he had a chance, when we had the chance to. But we would do stuff like go to the movies. And Michael was so famous, he had to disguise himself. And we would come downstairs. I'd be like, "Where's Michael?" And Michael would be covered up like, "I'm over here, Chris. I'm here." I said, "Michael, that's you?" "Yeah, Chris." I said, "I thought we was going to the movies. You're not even dressed." "I am dressed, Chris." "I just can't go in the movies. We got to disguise it a little bit." I said, "Okay." So we go in the movies, and I'm thinking, I'm trying to be secret too. I'm hiding myself. Then Michael laughing louder than anybody. Everybody know Michael's laughing.
Right.
He's like, hee. I was like, "Michael, shut up. They're going to find you in here. It's going to be a riot."
Have you ever worn a disguise in public so you were not recognised? I've thought about it. In fact, I quite like the idea of it, right? Having to wear a mask and sunglasses. I always wear sunglasses anyway, and a baseball cap, right? I thought the mask would be amazing. I'll be anonymous. I walk down the street and people are going, "Hi, Ricky." So, I don't know, is my nose a giveaway? Is that big, blobby, calm? I know the mask would have been there, wouldn't it? I had sunglasses on. They must know. Oh, there's a bloke here who's walking like a chimp. As Ricky. How is it? He's got chimp ability. I'm trying to get chimp ability. To walk to be cheeky and laugh like a chimp out and walk, have short legs. He's got chimp ability. Oh dear.
We did one time. We went to a mall. We was out. Michael wanted to go to the record store or something, and he forgot he was famous. He was like, "I gotta go to the mall. Go to the mall." And we finally said, "Michael, you can't go in the mall, man. You forgot who you are." He said, "Well, let's go." And it was only thing was in the car was a Spider-Man mask. So Michael said, "I'll put this on. We'll go in and we get." I said, "Michael, you can't do that. Spider-Man ain't gonna just be walking through the mall. Ain't nobody they gonna know it's you, Michael." He's like, "No, he won't. Chris, it'll work. It'll work." We go in the mall, and he was getting away with it until people figured it out, because I was with him, and he was like, "Chris, is that Michael Jackson in that Spider-Man mask?" "No, that's Spider-Man. That's Michael Jackson." All of a sudden, the mall went crazy, and they had to scoot us out. You should have seen it.
My God.
It was crazy. We had a lot of fun, though. He was great.
The only time I've thought about being in disguise, I think, is probably at something like a concert where it's a lot of public and there's drinking and you've got to be in the... See, I don't worry about it at the theatre because you can get a box or away from... In a restaurant, people don't bother you. Walking around, people don't bother you. But at an Iggy Pop concert, when you're in the crowd, that's when I wish big beard. Or just someone else. Just Michael Jackson mask. People going, short fat Michael Jackson at this concert. But I've never done it, no. I also think if that people recognise you as a guy, they go, how fucking mental is that? That's Ricky Gervais in a disguise. What? Why is he undercover? Why is he? But yeah, sometimes you walk into a shop to buy pants and you wish, I wish I'd have to have a conversation about pants. But it's no big deal. I'd forgotten that lyric. It really sums up my attitude at the moment. Wish everybody would leave me alone. That is, I don't know, the way the world's going. I just want to be left alone. So I don't do anything anymore. Can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. This is why we can't have nice things. People are never happy. You try your hardest. Yeah. I wouldn't call it street life now, though. I call it home life. I just want to be... I want to stay here. It's bad now. Doesn't matter what it is. I just turn down going to everything now. Even like nice things, like, you know, like a party, award show, and I just go, I can't. I'm giving the orphanage. COVID, I've got COVID. Oh, God. Oh, cough. See? I tested yesterday. Right. Yeah. I was forced into this. Dogs and cats going, you doing a thing tonight? Yeah. I am. What's been happening? Right, here's some questions. Titch was straight in. If they invent a device that allowed you telepathically to talk to dogs, would you spend all day over Hampstead Heath stalking dogs? And do you know what I'm thinking in this pic? You're thinking Borley, biscuit, pigeon. Just like that. In your head. Yeah, that'd be amazing if I could talk to dogs, wouldn't it? I'd use them as an army, I think. That's if someone was annoying me, I go, and I roar, the dogs would come out, and I go, like that. And he'd run away. Christine, what 3 things in your life bring you the most happiness? Well, I assume you don't mean friends, family, you know, spouses and all that. That would be obvious, wouldn't that? Would use them all up, wouldn't it? So apart from that, take that as a given. Work. I like doing the work. Even though I know people who complain, I still enjoy doing that. I enjoy coming up with stuff, and I go, this will annoy people. So I enjoy the work, or the creativity, I should say. I enjoy I enjoy coming up with ideas and doing them and that, and I can't wait to. I'm doing some new stuff. Next week, new material. I love that bit of it. I get excited about that. Come up with a new idea. But then I want to go, I don't do anything else ever again. Then you start thinking of all the admin you've got to do. It takes ages. Like a year's work for half hour on telly, and people watch it. And some people go, oh, it was good. Some people go, yeah, it was alright. Some people go, I didn't like it. Some people go, I'm going to write a letter to the BBC. Well, actually, I wished I missed those days. That's why there's so much more complaining these days. Because 20 years ago, if you wanted to complain about something, you'd get out a pencil and paper and you go, dear BBC, oh, I can't be bothered. What am I doing? Let's have a cup of tea. Right? Brilliant. Right? Now, they can fire a tweet off. And someone goes, yeah, dude, suddenly it's like a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. Turn the telly off. I didn't like this. Who can I tell? Don't tell anyone. Just don't watch it again. What, 3 things? So, creativity. My work that I do, it just happens to be my job, but I love that, coming up with stuff. Dogs, animals in general, I suppose animals. Nature. Creativity, nature. Playing tennis. I look forward to that all week, like 1 hour. If it rains, I'm furious. I need a tennis court in my house in London so I can play every day. Even against a wall, like a really sad kid. I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with half a tennis court and a big wall. Because then I could play tennis and I wouldn't have to meet anyone or arrange anything. Like a proper little mad recluse. That's how I taught myself. After school, by myself in the gym, hitting against a wall. Yeah. So, creativity, animals, tennis, wine. That's 3. Right. Max and Muffin. Did you consciously move your foot when you were talking about Lisa in Afterlife? His friend, oh yeah. But this is Max and Muffin, and his friend's a widower, said that they tap their foot when they're talking about their wives. I don't know if I did it specifically because of that. I'm pretty sure I didn't. But like if you're getting emotional and you're anxious, I think you do fidget, like to control it. You're trying to control things. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. But I usually do act. If I'm sad, I do. My lips quiver and you fidget because you're embarrassed and you're nervous and you're thinking. I also think I do it. So because you're childlike, because you're vulnerable, you're worried and you want comfort. So a lot of people, when they're really emotional, they revert almost, like they're weak. Because they need comfort. So I did do it consciously, but I didn't do it specifically, like, about being a widower. But yeah, I'm fascinated with body language. I think it's not done enough in acting. They just say the words, but, and put teardrops in. But I just think it's more than that. It's like, there's a lot goes on. Like, so much is non-verbal and tells and gives things away that you're really thinking and not what you're actually saying. So I'm fascinated with the psychology of body language, yeah. And that's very nice that people have noticed. Gunnar, what are the necessary components for defining consciousness? The necessary components for defining it? Well, words. I have to use words. Well, it is a tricky one. I still don't think people quite understand what consciousness... A definition of consciousness, in layman's terms, and I don't say that like I'm not a layman, I am a layman. Although what people don't realise is, right, because I talk to cats and dogs, and I say stupid, and I look like a bag of shit as well, right? And I've got a stupid Reading accent. And I look thick and old and drunk, right? Right? They don't realise that I have got an honours degree from a top university in philosophy, okay? And discussion of consciousness was one of the first things I remember when I did my degree, discussing Descartes. Now Descartes, a French fella, and he was pondering. This is probably the single most famous phrase in philosophical circles. I'm sure you've heard of it. Cogito ergo sum. It means I think, therefore I am. And where it comes from was Descartes was going, how do I know this is real? How do I know I'm even alive? What if this is like like a dream? None of this is real. I'm not really here. And he went through all that. Well, it could be a dream. But then he went, oh, but hold on. Even if it's not real, but I'm dreaming it, I must be alive to have these thoughts. I think, therefore I am. I'm thinking, therefore I must exist. And consciousness is an individual's awareness of oneself in the world. That's all it is, really. It's the fact that we're feeling thoughts, we're feeling we're alive. Maybe it's not even a self-awareness, because I assume there are loads of examples of animals that are conscious, but they're not thinking, oh, I'm a nice little frog. But to explain it in any terms, it must be the awareness of that even if you can't put it into language, it's the awareness of being, I'd say. There's probably philosophers out there and neuroscientists and psychologists going, you don't know what you're talking about, Gervais. Well, that may be so, but at least I'm saying it like I know what I'm talking about, and that is all that matters these days. People are so confident they've got a good point or an original thought. The worst thing at the moment is this myth that all new ideas are good. It's just not true. There's people go, oh yeah, come on, it's a new idea. Get with the program. This is the future. No. Loads of ideas are, and they have a go at when they go, hey, let's go back to the way. Loads of ideas. Everyone who's had a new idea thought, that's a good idea, isn't it? No, it's not. It might not be. It's a idea. I bet loads of people, like years ago, were going, oh, get with the program, Grandad. Communism's a brilliant idea. No, it's not. Same with fascism. No, they were new ideas once, weren't they? Fascism, communism, they're all new ideas. Brilliant. No, they're not all new ideas. Not all progress is good. Sometimes you go, what are we doing? Why do we do this? It's bollocks. Oh, God. I mean, the internet, that seems like a good idea at the moment. I think soon we're going to turn it off. This. Apparently, in one of the plagues, the Black Death, they thought it was the smell. They thought the disease was carried on smell. So you've got they made these big sort of weird sort of suits that were like leather things with like a beak that was packed with like posies and flowers because they thought the smell couldn't get in. What's weird is it worked because what they didn't realise was it was actually carried on fleas, but the fleas couldn't bite them. So they thought this suit was working, and it was working, but only because the fleas couldn't bite them, because they were keeping out the smell. It's good, isn't it? I could do that. Oh, I'd be useless. That's a good question, that. Julia, what or who was your inspiration for the annoying English teacher? He was brilliant in an awful way, yeah. Played by the great Tim Key, one of Diane's dates. The joke, though often those little things are my excuse to do like a sketch about a type. So it wasn't based on anyone, but the sketch was very simple, classic comedy sketch writing was, what if you took your job home with you? Classic. What if a teacher, you know, like a teacher is at school, what if he was like that at home? Classic comedy. So he couldn't get out of how he treated children with an adult. Elbows, sit up. That was the joke. And then you just build things around him, make him pompous, make him rude to waiters, make him sort of arrogant, make him, you know, think that he's a genius. But that was the inspiration. What if a policeman was a policeman at home? You know? And it's just classic old sketch writing. Leslie. Armageddon is about the end of the world. Yeah, that's my next stand-up after Supernature. I've done Supernature, but that's not going to be out for months. That's on Netflix. They're putting that into 160 languages, so people can complain in every country in the world. But my next one is Armageddon. My question is, did you find your head was just bursting with so many ideas for this subject? Yeah, it was. So the basic premise of this is, it's me. I'm going to talk about all the different ways humanity will be wiped out, and I'm sorry that I'm not around to see it. So a cheery subject. So it take on everything from, you know, are we going to destroy ourselves from ideas, politics, war, greed, famine, global warming, ametia, you know, whatever, zootropic diseases. So it's all about that, all those fun things, but me sort of laughing about it and being a bit smug that I'll be dead, but sorry that I'd like to see it. So, yeah, but I've got my first new material night, Tuesday, and just going to go down and just try stuff out, really. I haven't really written routines, but I've got, you know, the odd observation and gag, and my chums are going to help me out. So, yeah, very exciting. Nancy, when you stay in a hotel somewhere, do you secretly take things from the hotel room? Like the soap, shampoo, tea bags? I do. I don't take those things. I take a pen, because I like the fact that it's got the name of the hotel and the city often. Like, you know, Four Seasons, Paris, or whatever. Now they'll be on the phone. They're going, where's that pen? I don't know. You says on the bollocks gang, you nick our pen. I went, no. I didn't know. They said, Nancy said she nicks tea bags and shit. But you did say was us and you nick our pen. I go, no. I did that. Can't prove it. Casper and Yuri. Why are there no cats in Afterlife? I'll tell you, because they can't act. Simple as that. They can't act. Dogs can act, can't they? They do what they're told. Cats don't. Cats won't do what they're told. The best you can hope from a cat is that it just sits there, if that's what you want. But you can't write cat walks across. He's fucked. He's sat down. He's licking his. Right, cut. So that's the answer. And there is one. Is it Ep 3? Series 2? The sort of lady who's lost her husband and daughter, and she's got a little cat, played by Sid the cat. I think his name was Frank in the thing. I've got a different chair, but it's too slidey. I keep sliding down like that. It's too slidey. So yeah, there are cats. There's one cat in Afterlife, and it just had to sit there so that he could do that. Keena, how does it feel to receive such an overwhelming response from different parts of the world? I think it is utterly phenomenal. It is. It's mental. I talk about some of the cast, and none of us have ever done anything like this for the reaction. The amount of people, and it's not just the viewing figures. They're mental. I mean, they are mental. When you think about the people get excited about what, you know, you get on telly, right? And it's like 20 times that. It's mad, right? But that, I can't take credit for that. That's, Netflix has got to take some of the credit for that. Well, and the people that watched it, of course. And word of mouth is the best. Word of mouth is still the best. And particularly because it's always there. It's not like it's gone, like if it's on telly or, you know, or you got to buy the DVD or something. It's always there. So people are visiting it like it's the first day it's out. People discovering it every day. And every day people finish the whole series or start the series. But what's different about this is the depth of the connection. Obviously, people like the jokes and, you know, they like all the comedy characters like Brian and Ratty and all that. But I'd say 9 out of 10 compliments are people saying, you know, they cried or they connected with the character or something. And the best thing about it is, because it's had hundreds of millions of views, right? Some people don't even know the other stuff I've done. Some people are sort of coming of age. They weren't born when The Office was out. So they're going, I didn't... Or some people are going, I hated The Office, but I love this. And then they go back and watch Derek that they didn't watch because they didn't like The Office or something. So it's just constant. It's a constant stream of people discovering it or me or Netflix. And it is a phenomenon. And but the best thing about it is it's the emotional connection, I think. Some people don't like it. Some people hate that. Some people go, oh, I ruined the comedy. But everyone's different. Of course they do. If you look at 10 things I've done and you ask 1,000 people to put them in order, it would be a different order. Everyone will put it in a different order. Some people will hate The Office, love Afterlife. Some people it's the other way around. Everyone is different. And no one thinks they're wrong. If you see people see a list, they go, well, that's a wrong list. It's not a wrong list. It's just not your list, mate. Everyone's different. It doesn't surprise me. It never surprises me what order people put my stuff in. I just think, well, yeah, because you're a person. So you're going to have it in your order. But people take it personally. You see it. I see it online when someone says, I hated The Office, I love this. People go, you're crazy, dude. I hated this, I love The Office. There's no argument. It's not a right or wrong answer. It's so weird. Because they take it, they think, oh, why isn't everyone the same as me? Why do people love that thing? I hate it. Or why don't people love that thing? I love it. So it is phenomenal. And overall, obviously, it's just amazing. And the important thing is that's the proof of the pudding, right? You know, I see these things that a few people rave about and no one watches them because it's sort of like there's a snobbery. You're going to watch this thing. It's like, you know, like the posh press or champion something. And then you look at it and you think, well, it's everyone in the world is equal. Everyone is just as valid. 1 million people watching something, you know, that's amazing to me. I realise more and more that I only care about the audience now. I used to love awards and reviews only because I wanted people to watch the show. But now I realise it's irrelevant now because social media. Like more people are watching this than read a newspaper today. So I thank you. I thank the people at home for watching this sort of shit, retweeting things, watching Afterlife, Derek. You are the only, that you're the only ones that matter. Nothing else matters. And that's the thing as well, that I think broadcasters are suddenly realising that in studios, is they can put all the 5-star reviews and say won Oscars, doesn't matter. Whereas if people watch something, they want a piece of it. They want that's all they care about deep down, because they only care about awards and reviews to get people to watch the thing. So if you go straight as a new advice I'd give to a new director, go straight to the public, go direct to the public, and that's what matters, and that'll stop you being a fucking snob and just worry about the ordinary people. I include myself in that, by the way. I'm an ordinary person. I'm not saying I'm special. Far from it. But that's one of my pet hates. I see that. Celebrities definitely think they're a little bit better. They're not. They're worse. They're worse. Right. There you go. That was half hour of absolute, wasn't it? Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Buy a t-shirt. Buy something for charity. Help the dogs and cats, all animals. Be nice to animals. And cheers. Tatty bye, everyone. Tatty bye.
You haven't ended chaos, you are the chaos.
Prime Minister, less than a week away from a budget where all the leaks suggest you're going to have to raise taxes and cut public spending, why are you prioritising a new government handout, free crumpets for kids?
Well, these breakfast clubs are hugely important for children. We're here at St Anne's in Reading. This has been a pilot school, and you can see the impact it has on children. They get something to eat in the morning, which wouldn't necessarily otherwise be the case, which sets them up. They do activity in breakfast club, which means that they're ready to learn for first lesson in a different way. So hugely important for children, giving them a much better chance to get on and to life. Really important for parents as carers as well, because they can drop children off and get back to work if that's what they want to do, and it saves them several £100s. And if there's one issue across the country which is absolutely the top issue, it's the cost of living. So every step we can take to help people with the cost of living is a really important step by this government.
Do you think Nigel Farage racist? We've had this conversation. You wouldn't go there, will you now?
Well, I think that what he should do when he can see what to me is clear racism, a fellow MP saying, I'm fed up with black and Asian faces on my television. That to me is racism. I suspect it is for most people watching this, but he hasn't got the spine to call it out. He's got plenty to say about plenty of things, but when it comes to the fundamentals, he can't call it out. And now he needs to deal with this pro-Russian bribery. It's not just a serious criminal offence, it undermines our country. It's serious. The first duty of a Prime Minister, of a leader, is to keep our country safe. So he needs to launch that investigation.
Can I ask you about integrity? You made a promise when you came into Downing Street that you would restore respect to politics. Can you honestly say, hand on heart, to the British public that your government has done that?
Yes, and I'll tell you for why. When I came in, I strengthened the ministerial code. I gave more powers to the independent advisor. And in every case where there's been any issue, my ministers have referred themselves to the independent advisor and followed the advice.
You've been in trouble with that independent advisor yourself. You've had to talk about the fact you said you were going to recuse yourself from an appointment and you didn't. You've had to apologise over freebie scandals. Honestly, do you really think that your government has had more integrity than the last?
Well, as I say, I personally strengthened the ministerial code. I gave more powers to the independent advisor. And the difference now is that ministers know that if there's any issue, they must refer themselves in.
You don't think you need to be straight with people that you haven't restored the politics?
If you remember what happened before, there was no accepting of responsibility by the then Prime Minister or the government.
So you're just slightly less sleazy than the last government?
No, it's important we're accountable, and we are accountable, and that's why I strengthened the code.
Prime Minister, is it important that politicians stick to their word?
Yes, it is important that politicians stick to their word. They have to make decisions against a difficult backdrop, and we've obviously got big decisions to make in the budget that's coming in just a few days' time.
So I've got your manifesto here. Will you keep your word not to increase taxes on working people? It's on page 21 in this document.
Well, we've made that commitment, and obviously we'll lay out our plans at the budget, which is just a few days away now, so you'll be able to see exactly what decisions we've made. Now, obviously, we make those decisions against a very difficult backdrop. We had the '08 crash, where people haven't felt much better off since then. We then had austerity for a number of years, which destroyed our public services. We then had a botched Brexit deal, which damaged our economy, and then then COVID and the conflict in Ukraine. But we will make. It's very important that we take the right decisions for our country. I'm optimistic about the future of this country. I absolutely believe that this can be much better on living standards, on our public services, and on how people feel.
You told me a year ago, days before the 2024 budget in Chogham, you said we made an absolute commitment that income tax wouldn't go up, national insurance wouldn't go up, their VAT, as in working people, wouldn't go up. I said that in the campaign. We're going to keep those promises. Will you make that commitment again today?
Well, Beth, we're going to set this out in just a few days.
You won't, will you?
Well,
you said that just a few days before the last budget.
You know
you did make the commitment before the last budget.
You know that the decisions will be made and set out in full in just a few days' time.
You're not going to.
You'll be able to.
Will you make the commitment again now? You won't, will you?
You will be able to hold me to account, Beth, when those principles, when those decisions are set out. But
you won't rule out tax rises on working people.
The principles will be fairness, and the three things that I'm bearing down above all else is protecting our public services, the NHS, cutting our debt, which is vitally important, and dealing with the cost of living crisis.
Minister,
because for most people watching this, the cost of living will be their number one issue, and that's why it needs to be the number one priority of the
cost of
government.
living. You won't rule out tax rises. You won't repeat your commitment not to raise taxes on working people. Freezing tax thresholds beyond 2028.
All I've said is we will set out our plans.
It's going to hurt
Wednesday.
working people, isn't it? Freezing tax thresholds.
Well, we're going to set out our plans on Wednesday. You will see them set out in full, and then you'll absolutely be rightly holding me to account for the decisions that we've made.
Your Chancellor said in last year's budget, freezing the thresholds will hurt working people. She's right, isn't she? I'm not asking you about the budget, I'm just asking you if it would hurt working people.
We are going to set out our decisions. We will have absolutely in mind that the cost of living is the number one issue for people across the country.
I just want to put this here.
And then we will make
during the
election, fully set out.
During the election, you promised not to raise taxes on working people. You put it in your manifesto.
We did.
Before the budget last year in Chogham, I asked you this. You recommitted to that. I just want to say on record now, you are not recommitting to that today, are you?
Well, it's only a matter of days now to the budget.
Okay.
We will set out our plans in that budget. I've set out what the principles are.
Okay.
And I can tell you, politics for me is about who do you have in your mind's eye.
It's working people, and you're going to put their taxes up.
I have in my mind's eye people who are struggling with cost of living, who can't necessarily make ends meet. And that's political. It's also personal. When I was growing up, we couldn't always make ends meet. We couldn't always pay our bills. I know what it feels like to be in your kitchen around the table wondering which bills you're not going to be able to pay this month. And so having who you have in your mind's eye is really important. That's what I've got in my mind's eye as we go into this budget.
Okay. PM, you promised to end the chaos when you were elected, but since the summer we've had winter fuel U-turn, welfare U-turn, Rayner's resignation, Mandelson's sacking, Andy Burnham's leadership drama, the Wes Street in number 10 showdown, pitch rolling in income tax rises only to U-turn. You haven't ended chaos, you are the chaos.
Look, every minute that we're not talking about the cost of living is a wasted minute.
But this is chaos.
But at the same time, we have delivered free childcare for children between 9 months and 4 years. That's a game changer for children when they're in their education.
And for
parents.
Do you acknowledge
only yesterday we were rolling out the extension of free breakfast clubs. We're freezing prescription charges. We're maintaining the cap on bus fares.
So none of the stuff that I've just mentioned, that you're just going to gloss over that and not acknowledge that this is chaotic?
No, I'm not. But I'm really conscious of the fact that what the majority of people want to know is, if my number one issue is paying the bills and making sure I can make ends meet, what are you doing about that? And that's why it's important for me to say, these are the measures we're taking.
Are you Let me put it another way. Are you disappointed about what's been going on in your Downing Street since September?
I think that every minute that we're not bearing down on cost of living is a wasted minute.
As you're not a violent person, I'm not, no. I wish I was. I'm not brave enough. Sometimes I think, oh, well. I watch a lot of stuff.
Bills will come down by up to £300.
We can cut bills by an average of £300 a year, every year, right the way as far as you can see into the future.
Get people's bills £300 a year lower.
That ought to bring down the household bills by about £400 for each bill, but that's a permanent drop.
That's what we said in the election. We continue to hold to that.
When Mum lived in the UK years back, she and her foreign friend once went to a local job centre to apply for 2 jobs they were not qualified for. So they went through a whole interview despite not being qualified. What's your worst job interview? I haven't had many. I've only had a couple. The one I remember, well, there was one where I went with my friend that I put in the office. The first scene of the office. I went along with my mate, and we were 17. It was the school holidays. We went along to one of those services that put you in offices and factories, you know. And the guy had a ponytail, and he said, "I don't give shitty jobs. If 2 guys come to me, they're right there." And he called his mate up, and he went, "Yeah, of course they're 18." Like that. And I remembered that, because I remember thinking, he's trying to get us to trust him, but the first thing he did was lie to his friend. And I remembered that, and I thought, you know, and that was, yeah, 20 years previous.
There's a few billion pounds of overspends. This is not a 22 billion pound black hole. That's complete nonsense. It was created by Rachel Reeves, signing off a deal with the unions at face value without any productivity improvements. I've never seen any government in recent decades do that. That's what she did. And then, of course, because of that tax spend doom loop she's in, and because of this constant speculation about what's ahead, businesses stopped investing, which means the economy stops growing. That's where we are. Business confidence has completely crashed under Rachel Reeves. So the things that actually generate the money for public spending have completely disappeared.
So it's all fine, no black hole at all when the Conservatives less power.
Listen, we've been through a difficult time. But let me tell you where we were July last year, July 2024, when they took over. Business confidence, according to the Institute of Directors, was +5. To date is -73. That's the steepest fall on record. It's the lowest recording on record. Actually, it's not the lowest. It was -74, which is last month. That's the lowest ever. That's what she's done to business confidence. And it's business confidence and investment that drives growth in our economy.
I'm going to say it again. You will not get another person of my stature doing this. You won't get any other directors, you won't get stand-ups of my... You won't get Seinfeld doing this shit. He's above it. You won't get directors doing it. Spielberg. Tom Hooper. To name... You would not get actor. You would not get George Clooney doing this. Nothing. No knighthood. People think I'm serious when I go, no fucking knighthood. I liked what Robert Smith, The Cure, said about a knighthood. He went, I don't want an award from the Royal Family. He said, I'm better than you. How dare you give me an award? I've always liked The Cure. Anyway, how have you been? I saw a funny thing on Twitter today. I can't really use it in my stand-up, but it would really be a good jumping off point. So someone without irony was having a go at someone for this book. They read a book, right, that they said promotes fascism. I think it was the thing about free speech. So it's one of those things that, you know, if you're right-wing, you're a fascist, right? So that's one thing, right? But what they said in this tweet was, remember, without irony, they said, this book promotes fascism, it should be burnt. Is there anything more fascist now? I mean, there's just the word fascist now. It just means someone you don't like, really. Someone who wouldn't let you park there. And, a while ago I would have retweeted it or argued, but now you look at their profile and you go, oh, it's just a series of slogans and acronyms and abbreviations. It's the equivalent of like a 15-year-old wearing a jean jacket with 1,000 badges telling you what they like and what they don't. What gets me in some profiles, right, is they have things like, in their profile, they have things like human rights. Yeah? Like, yeah, good. Well, like we're meant to go, what, you're for human rights? That is amazing. That's amazing that you're for human rights. Well done. Well done, mate. Anti-fascist. Really? You're anti-fascist? Well, fucking hell. Are you anti-murder as well? It's like we're meant to go, well, this guy, he's for human rights and he doesn't like murdering people. So, and I look at their little avatar and it's usually a cartoon unicorn with blue hair. And I think, well, if they're anti-fascist and they're human, then I'm going to stop murdering because I want to be just like. Oh God, it's funny, isn't it? It's a funny old world.
What is it with the modern advertising industry and big corporate companies? Think Jaguar. Think of the E-Type. Think of the powerful logo on the front of the car of Inspector Morse, of a really great British brand. Well, okay, it may now be owned by the Indians. But have a look at what the modern advertising industry have done. This is the new logo. I don't know what it stands for, do you? And the advert, showing some sort of almost non-human figures walking through a door without even showing cars. I'm not quite sure what they're saying or what they want to do. Strikes me as being another Bud Light moment. I predict Jaguar will now go bust. And do you know what? They deserve to.
So what the blinking heck is this? It's as though Jaguar asked AI to create the wokest, most pretentious, gender-ambiguous piece of self-satisfied A-level art using fridge magnet mottos, and this pile of shite was the result.
Quite nutritional. I don't know where. I mean, I've worn some terrible things, but they were by choice because it was the 80s. I probably worse things in the 70s, in adolescence. But were they bad at the time? Probably not. I mean, I think that you look back and you go, fuck me, look at my hair. But at the time, you probably thought, fucking hell, look at my hair. So I'm not really ashamed of anything I did, because you can't be, because it's relative to the time. But I have had some fashion atrocities. I bought I think it was a lime green jumpsuit once at a jumble sale. And I thought I'd dye that black. Didn't get around to it. I sort of found it 3 years later. What's the worst thing I've had? I've done all the same things that everyone else had relative to the time. Fucking extensions, dyes, bleaching, all that. Terrible clothes that I wouldn't be seen dead in now. What's the worst? What's the worst thing that I didn't want to wear? Probably something for filming. Oh, I remember I had one day with a beard on, a fake beard on The Invention of Lying. And I had to be fitted. I didn't want to do it every day because that's a fucking pain. That's 3 hours. Fuck that. Even for one day, no. Right? I said we'll fit it and have it made. Right? cost twice as much, but I didn't want 2 hours in the chair. So they did a mould, they fitted it, and they got the things back. Then went away and made it, and and then they put it on in 2 pieces on the day. And they said to me, "Oh, this is real human hair." And I thought, oh, I wish they hadn't told me that, because that just gave me the creeps. So I had it on all day, but I took it off for my lunch, and I had to do it again because I couldn't bear the idea of the fork going in, touching someone else's fucking beard on the way in. And it just felt horrible. And I kept gluing it, and yeah, that's the worst thing. Second worst, I didn't enjoy the lemur outfit in the Muppet movie. I was mildly embarrassed. It was a little bit tight. So, yeah. Fucking human hair, beard, not mine. Lemur outfit. Those are my 2 worst things.